Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, acknowledging your growth. Foundations of evolution. And don't panic about that word evolution. There are some people who hear the word evolution, oh my gosh. But let's face the facts. If God had created creatures that could not evolve and adapt to their situation, that would be dumb, wouldn't it? And I don't think God's dumb. So yes, I believe in evolution. Since personal evolution is most often a slow and gradual process, it can be difficult to recognize the scope of the changes taking place in our lives. And we might not be conscious of the changes in our lives, but you've certainly changed from the time you were a baby to how you are now. Yet it is important that we regularly acknowledge in our ongoing growth and reward ourselves for the many wonderful feats of self-improvement we have accomplished. And sometimes we don't even think about that. But if you think about how you were when you were 5, you're certainly better than that now. Or 10, you certainly have done more and know more than you did then. When we intentionally contemplate our progress, we need never feel that we are languishing between past achievements and the realization of future goals. Because any downtime you have is you're learning something, or you're learning patience, or the Lord is preparing the way for what's next. If we look closely at our lives, we may see that much of what brings us pleasure in the present is representative of the ambitions of our past that we work so hard to attain. And that's certainly true. Anything I've ever gotten or done, I worked hard and had to get it myself. No one's going to put it in your lap for you. You had to work hard and get it for yourself. At one time, the abundance we enjoy currently likely seemed like a far-off dream. And that's certainly true. When my husband and I got married when I was 18 years old, right out of high school, because I was told I had to be out when I was 18. But they wouldn't let me live by myself. They wouldn't let me move in with girlfriends. But they let me get married at the age of 18. Yeah. So we lived in an apartment. We didn't have much, but we were just happy we had each other. And then we got our first home. And we were living hand to mouth. We were living off tuna fish and macaroni and cheese, because macaroni and cheese was 25 cents a box. So we'd get a loaf of bread. We'd have toast, in the morning. So we were living pretty much hand to mouth, literally. But now, and my grandma told me when we were that young, you'll never have any money till you're 50. About when you're 50 or so and you get your house paid off, then you'll have some money when you get your house paid off. And that's true, because that chunk of rent or mortgage is a big chunk of your budget. Now, we've been to credit counseling twice, once to get the mortgage, and once because we had to declare bankruptcy because of the bills. But they'll tell you your mortgage or rent should only be one paycheck of your month. So 1 week's pay is what that should be. And if it's more than that, you're going to have some roommates or a spouse or whatever to help you make this. So, if you're living beyond your means, you might want to cut that out, or you might never have anything. But like I said, we have, more than we need now, and we're like, whew, about time, because we struggle for so long, just to stay afloat and have, food and clothing. Now it is simply a reality we created through our diligence, passion, and unflagging determination. Whether our progress is fast or slow, we deserve to congratulate ourselves for our successes. And you do. Because so many people don't succeed for the simple fact that they quit. They give up. They don't keep up with it. And so they're never a success at what they're wanting to do. To remind yourself of the insights you have gained with time, temporarily adopt an outsider's perspective and carefully consider how your life in the present differs from the range of your experiences you lived through in the past. So kind of take a step out of yourself and imagine you were an outsider looking in on your life. You'd be like, oh, well, she came from this and then she became this, and that was good. That was great. I'm impressed that they could do that. So sometimes you might have to step outside of yourself a little bit to see, that you've done something well. Creating a written list in a journal or otherwise of those strengths, aptitudes, and inner qualities you now attribute to yourself can help you accept that you are not the same person you were 1 year ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. And that's something one of my counselors told me. Make a list of all the good things about yourself, and make a list of all the bad things about yourself. And then I was doing my life coaching clients, I would tell them this, and then I would expound on that and say, okay, now look at this negative list, the negative things about yourself. And how many of those are things that other people have told you about yourself, that you've believed and therefore perpetuated? Because we're programmed from a young age to think a certain way about ourselves based on what we're told about ourselves. And those things might not even be true. I've heard a lot of things about me that aren't true. These are the things that come out of other people's evil imaginations and, whatever. Your attitudes, opinions, and values were likely markedly different. And these differences can be ascribed to your willingness to accept that you still have much to learn. And that's something I told somebody, one time. It's like, I'm considered a genius because I have an IQ of 135. But I know I don't know everything. So it's often scary to me when I run across people who think they do know everything. Oh yes, I know it. How do you know it? You didn't study this subject, you didn't learn about this, that, or but you're telling me you know it. No, you believe it. Clearly you do, but you don't know it. So that's one of the first steps, honestly, to maturity, is to admit there's stuff you don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know. And maybe someday I'll learn them, but maybe not, If you have difficulty giving yourself credit for these changes, think about the goals you realized, the lives you touched, the wisdom you acquired, and the level of enlightenment you attained over the past years. Because there are people that you touched and helped. Like we had, me and a handful of friends started a charity. We ran that charity for 9 years. We helped 188 people with this charity. But there came a time where I could not do it, justice. And I wanted to hand it over to somebody, and the only people we could find were, dishonest people that we checked their references and they didn't check out. And then another agency wanted to take over, and I was like, oh, okay, because I knew those people and I thought that was great. Well, then they couldn't be bothered to take a meeting with me. So, it's like, well, it's just sitting here, it's going to waste. I guess we're going to have to close it. So I had to get, some original board members back together, as the person, the incorporator, and we had to vote to close the charity. And now that was sad, but we did help some people, and that, is good. So sometimes you have to look at the positives. Bad things happen, but there might have been some good in the situation. Recognizing growth is neither boastful nor immodest, because it's the truth. You grew, you accomplished something, and that's not boastful. Boastful is where you talk about how great you are. I'm wonderful and blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, whatever. Which tells me right away that you're insecure, and that's what you feel like you need to do about yourself. Evolution is a natural fact of life and becomes a potent motivational force when celebrated. And you can look at that. Like when I was 10, I was like this. When I was 20, I was like this. 30, I've learned a lot of things. I've come up, and gotten, I'm not, like the song goes, there's a song that goes like, I'm not who I was, and I'm thankful for that, because, I'm glad that I learned some things. Knowing that you are brighter, stronger, and more grounded than you once were, you can look forward to the changes to come. Because, we grow and change every day, from the day you're born to the day you die. In acknowledging your growth, you build a sturdy foundation upon which you can continue to blossom well into the future and until the day you die, really. So, you know, acknowledge your growth, because life is not easy. In fact, it's pretty hard usually. And that you grew at all is a good thing. It's a positive. And you started out with a certain foundation, and you grew on that, and you evolved into the person that you are today. And hopefully that's a good person. So think about it. And if you like this, please like and share. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to help me out a little bit. If you want to help me out even more, you can go become a patron on my Patreon page. That's all for now.